Hey, everybody, welcome to our time of sharing and celebrate the life of our brother, Kurt D. Walton. I am your host tonight, Raymond Dix Jr., and we're glad to have everybody starting to get into the broadcast tonight. We're going to celebrate our brother tonight. And so I want you to be excited about this. It's going to be a wonderful time of remembering Kurt, remembering his life, remembering what he meant to all of us. And we're going to have some fun. There'll be some time for, reflection as well. But I'm excited to have all of these folks who are in our virtual studio tonight. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping for those of you watching. Please share this broadcast with as many people as you can. And also, the other thing to remember from a housekeeping standpoint, your live comments can end up on the screen. So be respectful of all of our guests and be respectful of each other. And certainly, as we remember Kurt, sometimes we'll be able to put some of your memories up on the screen. So we encourage you to participate, to comment that way, to use the live comments as a way to do that. So excited for all of you who are watching tonight, and we hope to continue to grow our crowd tonight as time goes on. So I'm going to bring everybody in, and I'll bring you in one at a time, and all we need you to do is just introduce yourself and maybe tell us just quickly how you know Kurt, and we'll move on to the next person. So we're going to start with this young lady here, Dr. Burns.
Hi, how are you, Pastor? I am Dr. Michelle Burns. I reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Kurt was married to my first cousin, Jackie, so he is my cousin in love, and I am happy to be here.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. All right, next, a very fine couple all the way from Texas.
How you doing, Pastor Dix? This is Glenn Johnson and my wife, Audrey. And actually, I met Kurt through Audrey.
I met Kurt in 2012. He was my trainer. I was a case manager. And yeah, we had a few choice words initially. But
with you, no.
Right. And he was like, yeah, we just alike. But we became friends, and went to lunch every day together. And everybody thought we were married when we used to go. I would never marry this man. So, but love this man.
Amen. Great. All right, let's move on. Sister Wilson, who has a $5 fine for not showing her face. But go ahead, Sister Wilson.
Okay, like I said, I'm sorry, y'all. I just got off work not too long ago. I'm not looking quite presentable, but Kurt and I grew up in East Chicago on Guthrie Street. And Kurt and my mom were very good friends. And Kurt and I like to call him my soulmate because we knew each other so well. We spent so much time together, and he was always there for me. So, and we spent hours just laughing and just enjoying one another, and just Kurt was my rock. He was my absolute best friend in the world.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Now, one of our great preachers in Northwest Indiana. Come on, brother. Pastor Edward Sims. Tell us how you met him, man.
I met Kurt over 46 years ago. My grandfather had passed, and he made it a recommendation to my mom that I would go to church. So I didn't like church, so I started going to the little church around the corner because I knew I could go to Sunday school and get out. But I met Kurt there, and I ended up staying there. And for over 46 years, we've been more like brothers than just friends.
Man, that's wonderful. Well, I'm glad to have you on this program today. All right, another brother pastor of ours, Pastor Keith Johnson. Man, give us the story.
Oh, man, praise God. I met this guy about 57 years ago when my mama brought him home from the hospital.
That's right.
And I potty trained him, and we were 2 years apart. And he's just been, even though I'm older, there are many times in our lives he's been a role model to me. And we've not only have been good brothers, but we're best friends. And so I'm just grateful to God to have given me a brother of this magnitude, because he has truly made an impact on my life.
Man, praise the Lord. There's nothing, the Bible talks about the brother being born for adversity, man. And It's nothing great to be talking about how your brother's with you through thick and thin. Now, I want to let everybody know also that some of you in the waiting room, our limit is 10 people on the screen. So we've got 11 total. So the last one in, we'll get to you as soon as we can. Let's bring in Jackie.
Oh, wow.
All right. You got a great story.
Well, let's see. I officially met Kurt over 40 years ago. Prior to that, we would see each other because I sang with the Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church choir, and he sung for New Starlight. And so we would see each other in passing, but this particular year, he was our MC for one of our musicals. And we had mutual god sisters, the Johnson sisters. And so I made the comment to Faith, "Ooh, Kurt cute," and her dumb boy went and said something to him. And so the next thing I know, Kurt comes up to me and she introduced us. But then a few minutes later, he came back and he handed me a picture with his telephone number on the back. Kurt put pictures on business cards way before Mr. Quinn. And so we exchanged numbers, and we stayed on the phone. In fact, Eddie was there with us. And the thing was, Kurt and I became really great friends. We dated for a while. I went off to college, came back home. We ended up getting back together, was married for 13 years, and we've been divorced for 19. But we still functioned as if we was Kurt and Jackie.
You know what? You are absolutely right. I used to talk to him about that all the time. I'm like, dude, really? Really? As someone who's matriculated through the landmine field of divorce, I'm like, y'all are better friends than I ever seen. I'm gonna tell you that. But that's great. That's great. Let's get into bring in Pastor Robinson. Look like he's still having some streaming issues. Glenn, call your friend, man, and help him out. Let's get Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, tell us about your story about how you met Kurt Walton.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am. Cheryl Hall McLean. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I am Kurt's sister. Well, we call ourselves outlaws. We were married to siblings. So we didn't use the term in-laws. We used the term outlaws. And there's a big story behind that. But I think we've known each other for at least 33 years. And as everybody stated, he was a character, but he was a good friend. So I guess that's all I can say right at this moment. I wasn't planning on saying much of anything. I just wanted to be here to hear all the other wonderful comments that people were going to be making from my brother-in-law.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. What I'm going to do, because I've got some people that have come on, I'll put you in the waiting room, and you can send me a private chat and something. And if you want to get on and say something, we'll be glad to get you back on. Okay?
I appreciate that.
Right,
thank you.
All right. Brother Stanton, tell us about Kurt and your story, man.
Hey, how you doing? I'm actually, we're kin through Jackie. Jackie is my cousin. And
Jackie,
we've been knowing
everybody's cousin, ain't she?
Yeah, we've been knowing Kurt since Kurt been around. Ever since I was a kid, I always knew Kurt and everything. And he's been, very how would I say, he's been a mentor to many people, and we just love him to death. You wouldn't have thought he was by marriage, because whenever you came down to North Carolina or any function, I think they worried about Kurt more than they worried about Jackie.
And they did.
And everything. So we're just here to celebrate, our cousin and everything, and just tell the world that we love him.
Well, great, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going to get Jen Green on the screen. Jen, how are you?
I'm okay. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine. Tell us about your connection to Kurt Walton. I know what it is, but
I'm Kurt's mother's sister.
That's right.
As far as we're both concerned, we're the only two girls.
Amen. You are the auntie, right?
I'm auntie number one.
Auntie number one.
My grandmother used to say, we call her Big Mama because she was the most important. So
Right.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, good. Let's go ahead, Sister Green. We're gonna put you back in the virtual studio for just a moment. I'm gonna come back to you because I got to get these other two folks on here just to say hello to us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get to Richard Wilfert is with us all the way from sunny California. I'm gonna tell you, Glenn in Texas, you in California, man, I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
Me and Glenn got some sense, man.
Y'all know the Lord. Y'all know the Lord, don't y'all? Wilfert,
got sense.
Tell us how you know Kurt, Wilfert.
Oh man, Kurt's my guy, man. Let me say, I just want to jump on. I'm out to dinner with Sky's in town for a couple more days, but I did want to join in just to offer our condolences to Jackie and then to Keith, and then to Ed, Glenn. Well, I might as well list everybody because everybody's tighter with me than I was. But and he was a blessing, man. And I do know. I honestly said to myself earlier, I said, man, I don't know why we always do this stuff, but if we would give people their flowers, I think I watched how many pictures I saw posted of him. I said, man, sometimes if we show people real and genuine love early on, man, why they can really get it, man, I think it make a real difference. Because sometimes you just don't know how much you love, man. I think he was loved by a lot of people. And me as well, me and him, I knew him from, I met him from Marion when he was associated with Marion. Then he came over to McDonald's, and I told him, I said, Marion gonna kick your butt. He found out you over here.
You're probably right about that, bro.
Yeah.
I love Marion.
Oh, I used to go, and Jackie said the other day on Facebook about running jokes, and I'm like, somebody else said it too. I'm like, man, me and him and I had our running jokes as well. And so I just thank God for his life, man, and how much a blessing he was to so many. And I put on Facebook, all I know is wherever he went, he was Kurt Walton. So you can period. He was Kurt Walton.
He was everywhere. That's right.
He wasn't funny about it. He was Kurt Walton wherever he went. So
genuine, authentic brother.
Yeah, and thank God for those. There's not too many more left. Hey. So listen, love y'all and praying for y'all.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. God bless. All right.
Peace.
Now, Kurt's pastor. We're going to try him again. The Right Reverend Dr. Lincoln Robinson. Come on, man. You must be using that alpha stream, Glenn. That's what he's. I mean, I'm sorry. No, he's not using alpha stream. He's using kappa stream. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's his problem.
No, and it's allergic to y'all's foolishness. Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for allowing me to participate. I met Kurt for the first time in 2012 at a luncheon, and then hadn't seen him in a while until 2018. 16. And just passing acquaintances at that point. Come to find out in 2017 that I was married to, I heard the whole cousin story, so I'm married into the family. Somehow, some way, don't get me to tell the story because I don't remember it. But then I was out, had surgery, and I called him to cover for me for a couple of weeks while I was recovering. And then after he retired from Emmanuel, because I'm at St. John where he previously served, he retired from Emmanuel, which is really birthed out of St. John, and asked me to come and close out his service as pastor there. That's where I met Keith and so many other people. And then afterwards, he united with us, man, and we became fast friends. I don't know how it happened, but the past 5 years, I felt like an eternity because that dude became, really a big brother to me. And that was my guy. We did everything together. In fact, we're going out of town on vacation, and he was supposed to be joining us tomorrow. We did just about everything together. So
yeah. What a wonderful testimony that everybody has given on knowing Kurt and how you met him. So here's what I want to chime in on. All right, as we think about Kurt, okay, so Kurt was gregarious. He was funny. He probably thought he was the most handsome guy on earth.
Whole earth.
Do I have a witness? Do I have a witness? The whole entire earth. I've never seen somebody take as many pictures of them eating food at a restaurant. Dude, we don't want to know that you was eating food. I mean,
we never saw it, just his face.
Right, just his face. Food. That's right. I'm at this restaurant. Well, how do we know? How do we know you eating? Because we just see your pictures. That's all we get. So that's something that we're excited to kind of talk about Kurt. So when I think about those things, those are the times where you just enjoy him. So I want everybody, starting with Dr. Michelle. Hey, tell us something that you might know about Kurt that people might be surprised to hear, or you were surprised to find out in your knowledge of him.
I don't think I have anything that you would be surprised about. He loved to dress. He did. He loved to dress, and he loved to take selfies. So he would comment on my pictures, because I like to take selfies also on Facebook. And he's like, I think you got me beat about taking selfie pictures. But he loved clothes and he loved to dress. Sure. Every time you seen him, a very meticulous dresser. So sure. That is what I have to share about Kurt.
Good. Well, I mean, you're right. There's no doubt about it. He was what we call someone who visited the haberdasher very, very frequently. There's no doubt about that. No doubt at all about that. So, Glenn, you and Audra known Kurt for a long time. You met Kurt through Audra. Give me some of your impressions of what what your first impressions were when you first met Kurt. And Audra, same with you.
Oh, well,
and give me the PG-13 version. Okay.
Well, when I first met him,
PG-13, what's that?
Right, I know you.
When I first met him, I was like, "Who is this dude?" But actually, he and we became very close and very good friends. We used to spend every Sunday together. Every Sunday evening, he would come over to our house to watch Power, and so. We would cook and everything. He come, Kurt is always gonna come get a plate.
You're right.
He would come watch Power. We both sit there, fall asleep. Audra would come down, wake us up, and so, and it got to the point where I said, Audra said we needed some new furniture, and I said, well, we gotta get Kurt to go with us. We get him a chair. So that when he falls asleep, he's comfortable and all of that.
You already know what I said.
She looked
right.
Crazy. But we went furniture shopping, and guess who went with us?
That is hilarious.
And you all can blame me, those of you that he has taken to Cafe Stelios all the time.
I
took
took
him
for that reason.
And I said, "You gotta check out my spot." And then he started taking everybody else there, and I'm like, "Dude, you can't be taking everybody to my spot, man." And then I walk in and I see Pastor Sam sitting there. Ran into Reagan there one time. I'm like, "Dude, you done brought everybody to my spot."
That's right. That's right. Well, he didn't mind sharing any place he thought there was good food. He would share it with you. I mean, that's funny. I mean, you tell that story about Kurt reminds me of when I was a single man. My brother and sister-in-law, I would know what day they went to the grocery store. I know I was visiting on grocery day.
He would call and say, "What's for dinner tonight?" So
I bet. That's wonderful. Well, Sister Dawn, tell us something that brought you, I mean, that you could just kind of share about Kurt that really made an impact on you and things like that. So what's something about him that really made that impact on your life?
You guys know the spiritual Kurt, the preacher Kurt.
Watch it, Dawn.
Hold on, Dawn, hold on 1 second. Let me give a disclaimer. The views and opinions of this. Listen, for all you people listening tonight, and you see these preachers on here, I forgot to say this at the beginning. If you want them holier thou people that are not going to be able to handle us having fun, then hang up now. All right, Sister Dawn, go right ahead.
Okay, so see, you guys know a different Kurt. I know the real deal. I know the cussing Kurt. I know the Kurt who had people that really got on his nerves. Okay? And the one thing that I think you guys might get a kick out of is that Kurt, he had some financial issues just like a lot of us do. And I know there was one particular time when Kurt called and he said, he was making a little extra money because he would speak at funerals. He would speak at funerals and things. And one day he said, Dawn, he said, I've never been so happy for somebody to die in my life.
That's Kurt.
See, I know that Kurt, Kurt could switch it up. He was a holy man. But there was another part of Kurt that I'm so happy and so privileged that I call brother. And that's the Kurt that I'm going to always know and hold in my heart. But when it came to speaking at funerals, Kurt could flick it on like a light switch, okay? And I've seen him speak at funerals, and I've even at loved ones' funerals. And that Kurt was a different Kurt. So he knew how to turn it on and turn it off. But the Kurt, the real Kurt from day one, that's the Kurt that I knew and loved the most.
Amen. All right.
That's who I miss the most. Yeah.
I want to get to his 40 plus, 45 plus, I think you said 47 years, maybe, friendship, Pastor Sims. Tell us, man, what some of the impact. I know you got at least one good Kurt Walton story. It might revolve around food or maybe a good cussing out. I don't know, but go ahead, Pastor Sims. Tell us, man.
I ain't telling because I tell you, we talk Wednesday. We talked Wednesday right there on 25th and Martin Luther King, and I said to him, and he said to me, we know so much about each other. We gonna take it to the grave. And I said, you take my secret, and I promise I'll take yours. And that's what we left today. Me and Kurt did so much stuff, man. We started off stealing cars at the church.
Oh my goodness!
Because they had an old station that their cousin gave, and we didn't have a jack, so we would bag it up on this dock, and I'd get up under there and tie the muffler so we can go to Gary to see the girls. So we would do that. We had our bike from Chicago to Honda, so we did so much stuff that it's unexplainable, but it made us better people, I think.
Well, it certainly gave a lot of good preaching material. Ain't no doubt about that for both of them.
We thank God for salvation.
Amen. Amen. We thank God for being saved by grace. All right, Stanton, man, come on, brother Stanton. How did Kurt impact you, man? And tell us something that was really significant in terms of impacting you.
Well, just him as a man, just seeing how he interacted with his kids and everything, my little cousins and everything, even down to naming them and everything, especially the KD3, what is it, KDW3
or 4.
Yeah. You would have thought there was a Jackson 5 or something and everything, you know what I mean? But, Kurt was just, if you didn't know he was a preacher, you didn't know. One of my best friends had actually seen him at a church in Gary, and the first time he had seen him, I was in town, and we was at his favorite spot, Karma, and he met Kurt and everything, and he had seen Kurt at church, and he was like, "Oh, that's Stan's cousin," and everything. He hollered at him, and then he sat down, and then next thing you know, they said, we're gonna have Pastor Kurt come up here and speak. And he was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even know he was a pastor. He was a pastor and everything." But he had his two sides, and one of the things that he actually loved the most was these cigars and everything. So I'm gonna have this cigar for him tonight.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Pastor Keith, you are Kurt's brother. Tell us, man. He grew up in East Chicago, and I'm from East Chicago. I know Guthrie Street very well. Keith, give us something about your brother. Is he there? Let me see.
I think he left.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Okay. All right, we'll get back to him here shortly. So let's go to I think Auntie, the favorite Auntie. Come on, give me some a good Kurt story when he was a little boy.
Okay.
Because he had the baddest Jerry curl in Chicago. I want everybody to know that.
Ready for the world.
That's right.
As you know, was my sister's youngest. And Kurt has always been outstanding. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that you probably don't know. Eddie might know, but maybe not. You came along a little afterwards. When Kurt was a little boy, I used to go and pick up he and Keith, keep them for the weekend. And I always did it on terms because I was single at the time. So I would pick them up and off of Guthrie Street and try to take them someplace that they've never been. I'd take them to plays, go to Chicago, go to the zoo, just try to show them another side of life besides East Chicago. I was also born in East Chicago, but I left as a teenager. Kurt, when I would keep them, on Saturday nights, they took their baths. We didn't have showers back then. Kurt, somebody mentioned, I think it was Dr. Michelle, how immaculate he was with his dress. And can imagine that he was a very clean person. But when Kurt was 9 and 10 years old, he did not like water. I would tell when he got older and he and Keith didn't take baths together, then he would go in. I remember one weekend I was living in Chicago and we could hear water just splashing. Keith said, "Auntie, go in there and look. I bet you he's not in the tub." Take a bath. He did not like to take a bath. I went in there. Kurt was sitting on the side of the tub with his cleaning up. Just get so furious with him. I think that was the only thing that upset me about him at that age. He did not like to take a bath.
Well, Auntie, I you know what? That's funny because I have a theory about little boys that don't take baths. That is something that happens until they meet little girls that tell them they stink. And then you'll have no problem. You see, he cleaned up very well. So I think somewhere along the line, somebody told him, "Dude, you ain't had no bath today. What's going on?" You know. But Auntie, that's great. Go ahead.
So proud of him.
Yeah.
Pastor, you're a pastor too, Dick?
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I'm just so used to. I always call Kurt, and Keith. Some of the churchmen might get upset.
Listen, I understand. My Raymond is on my birth certificate.
Kurt, for me, I felt like he loved me more than as much as my mom loved me. You know, he just had that love for me. And I used to say, he loves to take pictures of me. And they said, no, he loves to take selfies. He loves to take pictures with me, I used to say. But I think he just loved to take selfies from what I'm hearing and what I see on Facebook. Well, I put so much on Facebook, I would text him and say, maybe you shouldn't say that on Facebook. Anyway, I loved him to death, and I know he loved me, and he was kind of the glue for our family. Kurt has so many relatives, which some of have popped on here that I did not know. But he had a lot of, he talked about cousins and this one, and he always talked about Eddie and their lunches on Wednesdays. But Pastor Reagan, you already, it's a long story, but I told you that too the first time I met.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but.
Well, we want to get to, and we're going to come back to some more of those great stories. We got a new one in our podcast tonight. Isaac Washington. Brother Isaac Washington. Hey, Ike, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. Tell us how you met Kurt and give us a real quick little thing about something that you felt was either unique about him or something that impacted your life.
Hey, hold on, Ray. Next time you're gonna have to share the invite list with me first.
Hey man, these cues be roughhousing up in here, bro. I needed you, Glenn. I needed you.
I see. I had to try to get in a couple of times. You didn't want to let me in. I think Glenn was on here too. So, that's a
conspiracy, right? Go ahead, man. Come on, Ike. Tell us something, man.
No, man. I met Kurt when we was in the downfall of Peace Baptist Church, man. And Reverend Burns brought him in to succeed him. At least that's what he told us. And, actually, Pastor Burns passed away before that time happened. So, after going through all the turmoil between Peace, I met Kurt at St. John and didn't know that he was from East Chicago. And I'm like, bro, you ain't from East Chicago. I know everybody from East Chicago. But he was from the harbor. He was a little bit older than me. But after that, we just clicked from there, man. And after that, we followed Pastor McDonald after his death. McDonald established Emmanuel Church. Mm-hmm. And Kurt was chosen to pastor Emmanuel. and I was his deacon at that church. So, man, we had a lot of. After that, we just clicked after that, man, and you know, Kirk was a really good dude, man. So we just clicked after that, man.
Yeah, listen, man. I hear you say you were a deacon. I'm trying to figure out if they captured you as a deacon, how did Glenn Johnson escape being somebody's deacon? That's what I want to know.
I was real close, real close, and somebody put a stop to that.
I saw it.
Now listen, Glenn. I thought Audra loved church officers, man. I'm surprised at that.
No.
Don't be.
That is
Thanks,
funny.
Audra.
That is funny.
I always tell that story about me being a deacon, and people be like, "Man, no, I don't believe that."
Hey, bro. Listen, look. Every pastor needed a Peter who carried his sword. So hey, I got some deacons. I got some deacons that be packing on Sunday. I don't tell nobody who they are, but I know who they are. That's right.
Hey, trust me, I had his back, and whenever he had some problems, we dealt with it. We dealt with it together. So
Good.
That was my guy, man.
Good.
And I love him to death.
Listen, I want to do this. Jackie sent me a video today, and Jackie, I appreciate you for doing this. And again, if you are faint of heart and you one of them holy people that can't handle this, then I'm gonna tell you to cover your eyes right now. You know, but we're gonna see Kurt celebrating and being Kurt in a way that just is so joyful and excited. And so I'm going to play this video, and we're going to enjoy it. It's about 2 minutes. So everybody's going to be muted when the video starts playing. And then when it's done, we'll get back and talk about it. Okay. All right. Hold on. Stay tuned. Well, there you go. There you go. Listen, I think it's safe to say that Kurt did not win Jackie's heart with his dancing. Is it, Jackie? Is that safe to say? Is that?
You know what? He never danced. He did win my heart with his singing. That's something that most people didn't know. That Kurt is actually a very good singer. He would only sing when we went on road trips and around the house and that. But Yeah, he wasn't a dancer, but he was a good speaker.
Well, listen. We get to a certain age. Ain't too many of us that dance anyway. I live in the lane of the two step. That's it. That's me. That's all. You know? So, and I'm doing good if I can stay on beat. If I can stay on beat, I'm doing good. So but listen, we all have had these wonderful interactions with Kurt. And I'm gonna get Sam's back in here. Is Sam's, are you there? Okay. Pastor Sam's, and Pastor Reagan, I want you to speak to this because there is a side of our brother that we knew as a man of God and as a preacher. And so while many people might not know this about us in the sense of if you don't know a pastor, and the times where we have to kind of keep our guard up around everybody, but there are times when we're able to be with one another. And Pastor Sims, you could just be Ed, and Reagan, you can be Reagan, and I can be Raymond, and we were just those guys. So Pastor Sims, tell us something about Kurt, the man of God. I mean, you've known him a long time. You knew him when he came into ministry. He drug you to church, I guess, or something. But tell us about Kurt, the man of God. Sams, can you hear me?
Eddie, where Yolanda at?
Listen, while we're waiting on Pastor Sims to deal with his technology, Reagan, come on, tell us about Kurt, the man of God, man.
Kurt was a dude that had great balance. You saw the video where he knew, how to have fun. But when it came down to the work of the Lord, he was just as serious as anybody. So much so that when he was having certain health issues, and I would call on him to do stuff, he would decline, and regretfully decline. But he was, my eyes ain't working right, and so I don't want to do it, if I can't do it to the best of my ability. And so, he was that quiet force behind the scenes, if you will. His faith was inspirational. Kurt died, but Kurt never quit. He knew how to do what needed to be done. But if it could not be done at a level of excellence, then he wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pastor Sims, can you hear us, and can we hear you yet? Pastor Sims, looks like he's still having some technical problems. Okay. All right, let me bring Wilfert. I'm gonna bring him in and have him talk a little bit about Kurt as a man of God. So let me get him
Glenn.
in
I
here.
should have cooked Glenn out while you're chewing and eating. Everybody hungry. He over there just having dinner.
Glenn ain't gonna. Hey, if he ain't eating while he talking, he good.
Right.
Richard Wilfert,
one
man,
thing.
Tell us about Kurt as a man of God.
One thing about Kurt is spiritually, I think that he had such a smooth transition that he really didn't draw a lot of attention to himself. When he went through his illness, he continued doing what he was doing. I mean, most people, again, and me and him talk about a lot about Angelo, but Kurt, when he went through, most people, when they're not what they used to be, they kind of back away. But Kurt adjusted. He wasn't as big as he used to be. He didn't have as much weight as he used to. But he would make the adjustment in sizes and all of that, which speaks a lot about him, and his faith didn't waver. He still came to church. He still was faithful to God. And you didn't hear him do a lot of complaining. I never once heard him complain about his situation. We would talk about it, but he never would complain about it and never use it as a crutch and or excuse. And I think that is a grand testimony.
You wouldn't talk about it unless you made it.
When you're going through stuff like that, man, it's almost a task for you not to do. But he didn't use it as a crutch, a pass, or an excuse not to. He just continued, and he continues to, even when he couldn't do, he still supported. And again, and I hope you talk about it, because he stepped down willfully from being pastor. You know what I mean? He did it with grace and with honor, because just like Reagan said, he would rather do it in a way that brought honor to God. And man, he did it with grace, and he still continues to support everybody, man. And so I take my hat off to him as well, man. So
I can attest to that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Pastor Keith, I'm glad to have you back, man. You knew him as a brother.
Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear you now.
Pastor Keith, you can hear? Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Pastor Keith, you knew him as a brother, and a brother beloved, and there are memories that you're going to have and for the rest of your life. But tell us, as Kurt the man of God and Kurt the brother, what can you share with us about those two dynamics in his life?
Well, I want to share one thing that I know. Before I had some trouble, I heard you asking about something that we may know about him that nobody else knew.
Yes,
some
please,
people may know.
Go ahead.
But my brother was a singer.
That's what I told him.
Jackie brought that out.
He doesn't look, when we were kids, we used to, everybody else would be outside playing it and tag and everything else. We'd be in our room writing songs and music. And, we would write all our own songs, and he would sing his heart out in the room. But when we got to church, I couldn't get that brother to sing for nothing, man. He was just shy singing in front of people. But, he's a very good singer. And but he just did not like to do it in front of people. My brother was man, he was my best friend. We shared a lot. I think the best thing that I could say about him as a brother is that he used to make me mad sometimes because he wouldn't take my side. He was one of them friends that, you say, okay, I'm going to call him up and tell him about such and such and such and such. And I know he's going to agree with me, man. And I'd be talking to him. He'd say, well, Keith, this and this and that. And I'd be like, oh, man, here we go. But he was that type of brother that would, if he disagreed, he would tell you he disagreed. And we would discuss it, but we always got off the phone as brothers. And he was really upset with me when I moved to California. I moved here when I was 16, he was 14. And I thought I was coming here to visit for the summer. But my mother was sending me here for good. And Kurt knew it. I didn't know. But I found out years later. And let me tell you, last year, we were on the phone talking. And I said, man, I didn't know, Mama was sending me here to stay with my dad. I thought she was sending me here. Because, see, I was bad. Kurt was quiet. And when
I noticed you didn't say he wasn't bad. You just said he was quiet, right?
he was slick with his, but he was always bigger than me, even though I was older, and nobody really messed with him because he was a big guy. And I used to tease him because we go to buy clothes, and I would get slim pants and he would get husky. So I tell you, you got husky and I got slim.
Do they even sell husky anymore? I don't even know if they
I
sell
don't think
that.
they do anymore. But he just told me last year, he said, man, you didn't know that? I said, no. I said, you knew? He said, oh yeah. Mama was sending you there to save your life, man. She sent you out there because she couldn't handle you. I said, well, man, you picked how many years to tell me? 50 years? But he was a good brother. Man, I got so much stuff I could talk about, but I just thank God, for his
what was
presence.
the dynamic like? Let me ask you this. What was the dynamic like when both of you the slick Kurt and the admittedly bad Keith came together and became men of God. How did that conversation go between you and Kurt?
Dude, it was crazy. So my grandfather, when he was on his dying bed in the hospital, and I want to say me and Kurt were probably like 4 and 6, somewhere in that area. My grandfather told my mother, that boy right there, that little one, he's going to be a preacher. And we all looked at each other like, huh? Right? And lo and behold, my brother accepted his calling to preach at the age of 14. And, you know, I came years later.
Hold on. Feedback. Okay.
How, is that better?
Go right ahead.
I still hear it.
Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Somebody's got a speaker too close to your mic.
Hey, try muting your.
Yeah, mute. Everybody mute up, except Keith.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, go ahead, man.
There we go. Okay, so Kurt was already preaching, man, and when I was called, I had these stuff going on in my life and some dreams and whatnot, and I called my mother, and I shared it with my mother, and my mother said to me, I think the Lord is calling you. And I said, no. I said, that's Kurt. I said, I'll be a deacon, I'll sing, I'll do whatever, but I'm not a preacher. And my mother said to me, she said, son, I hate to tell you this, but until you do right by God, and nothing gonna go right in your life. And that hurt me to hear that from my mother. So I called.
Did we lose Keith there? Probably should have let Glenn Johnson run the tape. There we go. Got him back. Okay.
So I called Kurt looking for him to help me out. And he told me the same thing my mother told me. So he became a mentor for me in my early years of ministry. And we were able to, I was able to really work through the whole process in the beginning, just by talking with him and him talking me through it. And, later we just kind of became two peas in a pot. Every Sunday morning we talk. I get up early in the morning and I call him up and we would talk. We talk about, what we were speaking on or if he was speaking or not. And we would talk about scripture every Sunday morning. And I would expect that call. And if I didn't call him, I got a text. Him wanting to know, hey, man, I missed you this morning. But, man, he was just a huge inspiration to me in my ministry. I was really looking forward to him coming out here, but God had other plans. So,
Amen. What a great reunion you're gonna have with him when we get to the promised land, when we get to glory, man. What a great,
and if I
great
don't
reunion.
get to say this, I just want to say it real quick. I just want to thank Pastor Eddie for always being his friend and always being there for him. And I want to thank also Pastor Robinson.
I think he froze up a little bit there, Pastor Keith. In the meantime, while we're waiting on that, there we go, Pastor Keith. I think you're freezing up, brother. But thank you. We got no audio from you now, but thank you for everything. Thank you for being on. I know this has been a trying week for you. And still some trying days ahead, but we really appreciate you, man, as a man of God, coming on here and talking about your brother. Pastor Sims, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pastor Sims? I guess not. All right, we're still having some technical difficulties with Pastor Sims. All right, let's move ahead. So before we get into a little name that tune, because you all are going to be contestants now, got to be ready. Glenn, you got to make sure Audra does not cheat on this on the name that tune. So so keep your eye on her. And she look at you like you might be the one that cheat. I don't know.
Hey, I got my phone.
See, so before we do that though, I want to really thank Jackie for agreeing to get us to all come together, allowing me to do this, putting me in touch with everybody. It's been a powerful moment, I think, that we've had to be able to give tribute to our brother Kurt. You know, as we all know, you never know when the last time you're going to see someone, you know, and you always kind of think it'll be another time. It'll be another time. And I remember the last time I saw him, we were at Karma, and for whatever, I'm gonna have to put this on the Lord, without trying to sound too overly spiritual. But you know, Kurt and I always dapped each other up when we got ready to go, and he got ready to leave. And I said, "Hey man, I love you." He said, "I love you too, man." And that was, I had no idea that would be the last time that I would see him. And so Jackie, you know, the burden of my heart was to get friends and family together to memorialize a time of joyful celebration that we have with knowing Kurt and loving Kurt. So Jackie, I want to thank you for doing this and for letting us assisting me in helping to make this happen, to all of our guests for sure. And so Jackie, I think you should probably get the opportunity to say something that you want to say about this and about, you know, any thank yous you want to give. Please do that at this time.
Well, I definitely want to thank you thank God for putting it on your heart to do this. This is something that the children and grandchildren, you know, years later can look back on. Man, it's no secret the love I had for Kurt. Let me say that. And the thing that was most dear to me with Kurt was Kurt's ability to be the best friend. If Kurt was your friend, you had one of the greatest friends on earth. And that's the reason Kurt and I are divorced, because I wanted my friend back. You know, he used to joke about that, but then he finally saw it was serious. You know, Kurt and I when we got married, we were best friends. You know, we went through a lot of firsts together. We experienced a lot of great things together and a lot of bad things together. But in the end, Kurt was my friend. He was my friend. He was everybody's friend. And with that, I want to thank everybody, because the outpouring of love this week from friends, strangers. I've had people I've never talked to before in my life, you know, reach out to me and the kids. And Kurt lived his life. His Facebook page tells his story. Kurt loved God. He loved his family. He loved his friends. We know he loved to dress. We know he loved to go out to eat. He loved music. He loved having a good time. And Kurt loved Kurt, like we said. You know, the picture showed it all. Kurt loved Kurt. But I am so grateful that we had this opportunity, because he always said, you know, I don't want y'all to be sad. You know, I don't want you all to be sad. So I am grateful that we can laugh and share the times that we had with him. And I have to share something funny that everybody wants to know what Kurt, something that, well, I know a whole lot that y'all don't know, but it is.
This is a family show.
Kurt was petrified of
mice.
That's
he was petrified of mice.
Mice.
Wow.
Pastor Sims can share that story with you. And then you all know Kurt wore glasses. And so when Kurt and I first got married, he would fall asleep in his classes, and I would take him off. And probably about a month after we've been married, he was like, "Why you keep taking my glasses off?" And I was like, "Well, Kurt, you falling asleep in them. Those my sleeping glasses." I said, "What? Those the glasses I sleep in."
Oh my.
And so I started paying attention. He couldn't get out the bed without his
You muted, Jackie, you muted yourself.
Yeah. She got
It was ironic because the other day Kyle said, "Honey, I've never seen Daddy without his glasses except when he got out the shower." But yeah, Kurt was Kurt. He
that
would
is
give
something.
me 365 days of hell, but he wasn't gonna let nobody else give it to me.
You said that to me the other day, and I think again that just mirrors the kind of person he was. He would get on your nerves, but he would be very protective of all of his friends and loved ones. He would talk about me, and here's a funny thing too. Here's a funny thing, and Stan, I think you got your hand up. We're gonna get to you in just a sec, okay? But here's a funny thing. Kurt, people thought that when his beard turned gray, that he was older than me. and I let them think that. And he would always say, and Reagan is a witness, "I'm not older than Dix. Dix is older than me. I'm not older than him." And I would be like, "Bruh, don't be, that just might be the Holy Ghost moving on somebody. I don't." but I was truly older than Kurt and everything. But I would always let people think that Kurt was older than me. Then he accused me of dyeing my hair. He said, "You dyed your hair, you done dyed your beard." I said, "Kurt, you can go to Just For Men. I don't think they have a salt and pepper flavor. This thing is salt and pepper, man. How do I get that?" But we would have those kind of funny things. But listen, let's do this. Let's have a couple of moments where we I got some songs here from the 1983, the year that Kurt graduated high school. And I'm going to play just a little bit of those songs, and I want you to listen to it. And we're going to start with Dr. Burns. We're going to start with you. You get you a couple seconds. You got to identify the song, and if you're listening in the stream, you can identify the song and put it in the comment section. So we'll see who gets that first. But here we go. All right. Did you get that?
No.
Here's a little more.
No,
all right, y'all hear that? Y'all can't hear nothing?
I don't hear anything.
What is going on here? All right. Let me see.
You got an 8-track? What you trying to play it on?
You are funny. 8-track. Can y'all hear that?
No.
Can't hear none.
All right. Well, this was a great idea that is going horribly wrong for whatever reason.
Well, maybe you can tell us what you're trying to play, and we'll sing it for you.
Hey, I want to hear Audra sing "Juicy Fruit" to you. That's what it was.
My singing days are over.
I thought I had that thing hooked up, man. It looked like it was working earlier. Okay, well, we'll have to move on from that. But hey, this was again, when technology fails, man. When you don't know what you're doing, it's a whole different thing. But I wanted you guys to know that how much I appreciate y'all coming together on this time, and Brother Stanton, I'm gonna bring you back in, and I think you had something to say. Brother Stanton, go ahead, man.
I was trying to check my email. I can end us off with some good words and everything. Kurt, every Sunday, he would send a text message to me and everything. And it would say, It would say,
Happy Sunday.
God bless you, cuz, and the heart. I love you. I would look for that every Sunday. And this Sunday, I know I'm not going to get that, but I know he still means it till this day and everything. So I just want to say that back to him. God bless you. I love you, cuz.
Amen.
Let me share you guys the story about my family with Kurt. As you all know, Kurt and I met when I was 15 and he was 17. So as my cousin said, he's been in a lot of their lives, almost since birth, especially my nieces. But after we divorced, we had a family reunion. And so Kurt was like, oh, well, when the family reunion? And the kids are like, he ain't going. He not the family. And it's like, y'all couldn't tell Kurt. You couldn't tell my aunts to this, that Kurt wasn't their nephew and he was Kurt. He was theirs too. So my cousin made a good point. They took better care of Kurt than they would me. When we go home, Jackie, you got to send this back to Kurt. This Kurt's cheer wine. He liked this drink called cheer wine that we would get.
Saw the picture, yeah.
And I would be on the doggone plane with a suitcase with cheer wine, bringing it back. And we soon as we hit the streets, my aunt, come on, we got to go get Kurt's cheer wine. But I love the fact that he loved my family so very, very much, and my family loved him. He used to always laugh and tell people, you don't divorce the McLees and the Lowrys. You in for life. You in for life. And I loved how he loved my family and how my family loves him. Absolutely. But it would drive the kids crazy because they always catering to daddy, But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know what? There are so many stories that all of us have, and all the people that are watching. If you were on here, I'm sure you would be sharing those kinds of things with us. These stories about Kurt. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Y'all have done such a wonderful job. So we're going to start with Dr. Burns. We're going to kind of go around the horn. And y'all give some closing thoughts. Take about a minute or so, and just kind of give some closing thoughts about Kurt and maybe talk about some of those things that he meant, or that why we will miss him so much. So, Dr. Burns.
One thing I will miss is his picture streaming through my timeline and his selfies. And I said, God must have saw that he was getting tired, and he said, send his angel down to bring his son on home. He went quickly and he went quietly when he was alone, and I'm sure that's how God wanted it. I love Jackie's my first cousin. Stanton is my first cousin. We are sisters' children. We stand together and we stand and support her. And you all, this has been phenomenal. You all are some phenomenal friends. You all, I am in awe of the phenomenal things that has been said about him and posted about him. And it is a blessing. One of the things that I will remember, Pastor Raymond, when you said, we always think we have another time. Yeah. And sometimes, only God knows when it's time, when it is our time. So I wish his family well, peace, blessings. And Kurt, rest well.
Thank you.
Job well done. He fought a good fight, and job well done. And thank you all. And also for including me in this. I am honored and I am grateful to have been a part of this phenomenal podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And let's move to Glenn and Audra. What are your closing thoughts as we move forward?
One thing, Kurt, like I said, met Kurt in 2012. We became close. He became close with Glenn, our entire family. He was Racine's godfather. He made himself Racine's godfather. When we worked at Township, he would actually go to my grandparents with me for lunch. just about twice a week. So they welcomed him, and he just became part of the family. You know, like Glenn said, staying at the house. We could count on him. He could count on us. And, you know, one thing that I want to say that Glenn was talking about, one thing someone that you guys didn't know about us and Kurt. Well, Ray, I think on this podcast, you've known me longer than anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like in them streets for real. I was just like, at one time, this is not too long ago. I was like, Kurt, I gotta pull up on somebody. I need a pastor with me. He came over, put his briefcase down. I don't even know where he was coming from. He was like, I hope I don't get hurt, but I rolled. When we pulled up, everybody was like, you got a pastor with you? Hey, I need him. But he will be, I miss this dude. Even though we moved to Texas, he was like, what am I going to do? Because we were still seeing each other all the time. So we tried our best to talk once a week and to talk to him Sunday. He wanted to come down here and everything, visit, but just gonna miss him. He is everybody's friend, and I miss him.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, and I think Jackie had said this earlier, that Kurt was the glue of the family. And, actually, Ray, I've been knowing you for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been knowing Reagan. I'm still trying to figure out how he ended up in my family, but
somebody made a good decision.
Reagan, because Kurt and I used to say we were cousins since, because Renee is my cousin, and so she's Kurt's cousin. So we used to just say we were cousins. But through Kurt, I started spending more time with Reagan, started spending more time with you, Ray, started spending more time with Ike.
Yeah.
I sometimes question Kurt's choice of friends, but
that's his deacon, man. That's
the hate continues.
Shots fired.
I got to know Pastor Sims, and so he just brought everybody together, and it is. I mean, it's to the point to where I can call on these people when I need them, and all of that was through Kurt. And actually, I met Jackie before I met Kurt, and then when I found out that they used to be married, I asked Jackie what was she thinking, but he became a brother to me, and I would tell him, like, dude, you come to Texas, because if you can go to California, you can come to Texas.
That's right, man. What an awesome testimony. Dawn, tell us your closing thoughts about Kurt.
My closing thoughts is that my wish would be that everyone got to experience a Kurt in their lives at some point. And to just have a soulmate, somebody that you could call in the middle of the night and just laugh for hours over nothing. I believe Kurt didn't have a lot, but he did a lot with what he had. And I think that he did a good job. He did a great job. I think he was a leader. I think that he lived passionately. And I think that his kids were important to him. His relationships were important to him. And I'm just happy that I got to share this earth with Kurt Walton. And I thank you, Raymond, for putting all this together, because I honestly thought it was going to be next week. And I'm so glad I connected with Eddie today. So I appreciate you, Jackie, and Raymond, for just reaching out and putting this together. And I just feel so humbled, blessed, and privileged to be a part of Kurt's circle. And I love him, and I will love him for the rest of my life. And I thank you guys for sharing, because it's late, and I know people have other things going on, but I really enjoyed this tonight, connecting with all you guys, and hopefully I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thank you, Dawn, and I'll be sending you my Cash App to collect your fine for not showing your face on this. My Cash App is $ICE06. Glenn would understand that, but certainly, thank you for doing this. And Ike Washington, your closing thoughts, brother.
Man, I just want to repeat the sentiments of Glenn. Unfortunately, he did bring everybody together, man. He brought everybody together, and when Kurt wasn't around, we thought we was best friends. Even Reagan. I knew Reagan from my childhood growing up, and we just all connected and just fell in line with how we just got along and things like that. But I want to say one thing. He loved his kids and he loved Jackie, man.
Yes.
As far as his kids, Jackie raising his kids, he loved her. And I just want to just say, man, Jackie, thank you for taking care of Kurt. When people didn't know, you took care of him. Hey, thank you for loving him.
Yeah.
And I just also want to say, Reagan and Pastor Sims was one of his best friends, man. And thank y'all for just taking care of him also, man.
Yeah.
It's just a different type of love when people just care about you. Just when people care about you, man.
Yeah.
So that's it.
You're right, brother. Thank you so much. Sims, do you have any audio, video? We got video. Can we're coming for you again, brother. I'm not giving up. The Lord grace is expounded to you, brother. So go right ahead and talk, man. Tell us your closing thoughts. We muted. Oh boy.
Where is Yolanda at?
We can't hear you, man. We can't hear you, man.
He probably
can you hear me now?
Is it out?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
All right.
Come on,
take
hold
these
on.
headphones off. Listen, I'm excited about this. Yolanda's sitting over there. She was trying to help me get it on, but she a little bit more tech savvy than me. But we're probably a lot more. But listen, man, I'm so grateful.
You gotta go home, bro.
I'm going home.
That's right. You better say a lot more.
That I will do.
That's right.
But man, it's good to. This is wonderful. Again, thank you all so much. Thank you. And I was sitting up and I was talking because when you was asking me, I was thinking about Kurt's Jerry curl before he got this new look. My mother was the one who did that because my hair would never grow long enough to get a Jerry curl. So Kurt was the role model. So I remember when he was greasy. So, but that was, he was more than just a friend. Me and Kurt I pulled up a song that we would sing at New Starlight. You can't hurry God. You just have to wait. You got to trust him and give him your time, no matter how long it takes. He's a God you can't hurry. He'll be there. Don't you worry. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. And I was telling my daughter, I said, I would take the high and I would holler. I said, Kurt would come down on the low and then we would switch over. I said, we would rock the church, just me and him. And I was sitting up laughing about it because I thought about it tonight. He would love this. He would absolutely love this because he was always, I was short and fat and he was more slender. but he could get us the girls, but I knew how to keep them. So I knew how to keep them. So a lot of stuff, man, we went through. We came from poor parents that didn't have much, but we learned how to manage and the places and the things that God allowed us to do and the positions. We were both we both acknowledged our callings at the same time. But I was at New Starlight, and back in them days, if you say something, you just a copy. So I didn't do mine till way later, till I was about 30. But Kurt never forgot that. He always said, "Don't worry about what people say when God called you." I said, "Well, I'm gonna wait to make sure that He called me." And so I didn't answer to 30. But in all those times, we kept the communication, the respect, and he was just he's gonna be a void that I don't know if I'll ever feel again. And frankly, I'm not trying to, because you only get I got one friend. We've been friends longer, but we were never close as me and Kurt was. And so when you start writing that measure of things down, I could call him and he would be there. I said, "Hey, I need you at my church." No problem. I said, "I ain't got no money." Okay. And we would do that. We go out to eat once a week or twice a week. We talked almost every day. So it's been something different. But I trust God. One thing I can say about everybody that's been on here, Kurt loved them, and even Pastor Reagan. We talked the same day that the day before he passed, and he was saying we just had left a meeting about the anniversary, and he said, I really enjoyed doing what I did. He said, and it was a success. I hope to my pastor, and that was his concern, to make sure that he could make sure that the job was done pleasing to those who he gave himself to. He was always accountable. And so that's the kind of person that he was. He was a jokester. He couldn't fight. He'd run before he fight. But he kept an umbrella in his trunk in case he had to fight. And I told him, "Dude, you need to get you one of these here." And I had to show him what he needed. But of course, he said, "Long as you got it, we good." So, but that was just Kurt. And what he said, he meant. Some people couldn't understand because he didn't have a filter, and he didn't mean to hurt people's feelings, but he would just say what was true, And so I appreciate that. I appreciate you all. And next time I'll get all. I thought I updated everything, but of course I'm not tech savvy, so they still have to help me with that little stuff. But everything else I'm pretty good at, I hope.
Well, man, thank you so much for that. And you talk about how Kurt, how he was straight. Kurt could deal with you with a look. How many of y'all know that?
Yeah.
The look would just be. I mean, I found some pictures on his Facebook page, and here's one. That's just a Kurt look. That is if Kurt look at you like that. God
be ready
forbid.
for what's getting ready to come out his mouth.
That's right. That is the Kurt look. And for somebody that was as happy a guy he was, really truthfully, the fact of the matter is that Kurt didn't take a whole lot of pictures smiling. he had that GQ 1980s, kind of GQ look. And the movie that comes to my mind is Zoolander. so Kurt would put that male model look on you, he had that look. So that was his thing. So it was funny to me. And Reagan, you were his pastor. Come on, give us your closing thoughts, man, of about Kurt.
Right now, I know I owe Kurt an apology. I owe Kurt an apology because if it's 4 Sundays in a month, he's late 3 of them. And I thought it was because he had no regard for time. But what I learned tonight is, Kurt's ministry was that of connectivity.
Yeah.
He's sending out text messages. He's late coming to church because he's sending out text messages talking about happy Sunday to everybody. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But if I could apologize, I would apologize for looking at him come through my door past time. But he was working his own ministry. I think Glenn said it, Ike said it, Eddie, everybody. I know everybody. If I don't know you personally, I've heard your name, Stan, Dawn, everybody, because of Kurt. His ministry. I'm seeing faces for some first time, except for Dawn, of course. But
we're gonna increase her fine.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm seeing faces for the first time, but names that I'm very familiar with. Aunt Jennifer, who was on here, because of Kurt and his ministry of connectivity. And so, if you can hear me, brother, I'm sorry. I thought you was just late. I didn't know you was working.
Now y'all write this down, because this is one of the few times that you're going to hear Reagan Robinson say he was sorry about it. No, that's my friend. I love him, boy. I love him.
I only say it when I mean it.
You only say it when you mean it.
Recorded, right?
That's right. Yes, I'm gonna replay it, man, over and over again. Just this segment. I mean, that's true. Listen, before I give my close, anybody else want to add anything that we didn't get a chance? Jackie, is anything you want to say? Again, thanks to everybody. Before I give my closing comments. All right. Go ahead.
Kurt and I always had series of running jokes, but one of the biggest ones he used to get the kick out of is, if I dated somebody, he can't give you what I gave you. And so we always laughed about the fact that our greatest, the thing is our kids, because I can't have any more kids.
Thank you for clearing that up. Thank you.
He always made reference. He always made reference to the fact that nobody ever be able to give me our greatest joys, which is and I don't mean just the kids that we had together. One of the blessings in Kurt and I's relationship was that when I married him, I got bonus daughters, his daughters from his previous marriage, and they're just as much our kids as ever. And so I thank Kurt for blessing me with them. I thank him for blessing me with our friendship, all of the great and bad experiences that we had. Kurt was Kurt. Kurt was Kurt. And I thank everybody, like I said, again and again, because the love that you all and many others that are not on here have showed. Our family has just been unbelievable. It's been unbelievable. But Kurt lived a great life, and tonight was a testament to how much friendship meant to him, and how much having a good time meant to him. So I thank everybody for coming on today. I'm sorry, a few minutes ago, Kirsten called me talking about what you doing. I was like, you're not on Facebook? So, she said, I'll get on. But, he would have truly enjoyed this. He would have really, really, really enjoyed this. So thanks again and again and again.
Well, I thank you, Jackie, again, and I thank everybody, and I want to thank all the people who commented. We had so many comments that came in, and we tried to get them all up on the screen. Your comments and things that you remembered or said or wanted to say about Kurt, and Kirsten wanted to make sure that she thanked you for clarifying your statement. That was important.
Of course.
You don't want to send your daughter into therapy, because, but that was important clarification. But Jackie, just all the things, you and I go back. I've served as your pastor, and Reagan is your pastor, and one of the things I told Kurt, I said, when Jackie joined St. John, I'm gonna have had a hand in that. So don't you get mad at nobody else. And we laughed about that. We laughed because she's supposed to be right there where you are, man. What are you talking about? But I want to say this. Again, the thing that really stands out to me is, there's some of us who started ministry at a very early age, and in East Chicago, Kurt started ministry. I was in East Chicago as a young minister, and we would run into each other. New Starlight, my cousin, he was married to my dad's first cousin. That was Pastor Frazier back in the day at New Starlight, and so I would see Kurt around and everything, and I said, this dude is dangerously pretty. You know? I mean, you know, and I'm all man, believe me. But I'm like, you know, when you see Kurt in the barbershop on the barbershop poster, you know, with his hair lined up and everything, I'm like, this is male model potential here. But you know, and Kurt had that Jerry curl and everything, and it was just so cool to have known him, and then we reconnected later in life as ministers and pastors and men of God, and to see Kurt really, you know, some of you have already remarked, I had a hard time talking to Kurt about his illness. I did, you know, I mean, it was obvious to me. I didn't want to hear, I guess in some ways selfishly, because I always wanted my friend to be around. You know, I always wanted him to be well. And I would just ask him, I wouldn't pry. Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm doing good. And he would never really let on without some prodding, you know, what he was challenging going through. And one of the burdens I'll carry forward is maybe if I had been a little more pushy, I could have maybe been a better friend in terms of encouragement and things like that. But knowing Kurt, you know, he wanted you to be just who you were, and he loved you just like you were. And I appreciate that about him. We're going to get together again. Some of us who do cigars, we're going to light that burnt offering to our friend and our brother, Kurt Walton, and appreciate him for all that he has meant to us. So I want to thank everybody who's been watching. We're going to end this now. Again, to all of you, I appreciate you, and you all just have a very blessed day. And Lord saying the same, we'll see all of you soon as we continue this week-long celebration. Glenn, when you hit town, you know, drop Audra off somewhere, and we'll
I'll be there this weekend, man.
Right.
I appreciate you. I love you guys, man.
Yeah, love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all all have a great.
Even Reagan.
That's right. All right. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.